Hey guys, Huzzy here bringing you another video. Now today, we're doing something a bit different for the second video of the day. We're going to be doing a live reaction, discussion, whatever you want to call it, about the new champion ZOE. The reason for doing this, it does already seem that she's quite a controversial champion. Some people think that she's great and a breath of fresh air. Some people think that she just doesn't really fit the game. So I am streaming right now. The difference is over there is actually going to be the Twitch chat. So you'll be able to see what people think over there. We're gonna watch the teaser trailer down below, and then talk about it for a few minutes. There will be a QT linked down below as well that you can voice your opinions. Again, if you leave a comment on the QT, there's always a chance to win some riot points. There'll also be a vote over on the right hand side on the QT. Just like, overall, do you think she belongs in League of Legends? So let's get into it. Let's watch the teaser trailer. So here we go. One flash. Two flash. We're on the Disney Channel. God. Okay, and that's the skin, which is arcade, I imagine. So that's pretty much most what we're going to see, there we go, of the champion. That is ZOE. So obviously people have probably given some of their opinions already. So we're going to break this discussion into two different areas. Firstly is going to be the visuals, the theme of ZOE. The next we're going to talk about the mechanics from what we can see. So the first we're going to talk about mechanics. We're going to talk about the mechanics from what we can see. Again, we don't know the official kit, but you can kind of see what's going on a lot of the time. So the more controversial thing that we're going to talk about, if we can find it, is when she's basically chasing after Jinx down here. If we watch this again and play it on mute, watch these. If you haven't noticed, watch these little bubbles, okay? So if you look at the little bubbles, you can actually see that's flash. That's another flash. So whatever happens, there's an interaction where people are dropping summoner spells and she's picking them up. So where we saw at the beginning of the little teaser trailer that she flashed like 2 or 3 times, it's something to do that she can pick up summoner spells when people use them or something like that. So that's a very interesting mechanic that has never been explored in League of Legends. Actual summoner spells getting affected by the champion. So I'll say interesting. You know, that's a new mechanic. Like a lot of mechanics nowadays in League of Legends kind of feel recycled. That, you know, it's kind of the same thing but just a different champion looking different. This is a completely different mechanic. So for me, that doesn't seem that bad, but I'll say, and again, Twitch chat, you can kind of, say your opinion, and on the QT in the comment section, let me know. I want to know how much this can get abused with other summoner spells. Like, if someone drops teleport, can she just get teleport? Or is it only summoner spells that she has? Ignite, can she have multiple ignites? Can she just ignite some people all out, like, 3 times in 10 seconds? What's going to be the limitation with that? Like, I don't really know, because obviously Flash is arguably the strongest summoner spell in the game, and if she can flash 3 times in 15 seconds, that's quite strong. Like, I don't know. Again, we don't exactly know if she's like 100% a mid laner. I'm pretty sure she is, but she could be a support. She could be a jungler for all we know. We don't have that amount of detail, but I'm pretty sure she's a mid laner. So some people, if we just look at the comments just a little bit, someone's saying, pretty sure she can use everything on the ground. Again, where does that come from? Like, we just saw, again, if we go back, both of them flash, I believe. So Taric flashed like before, and you can see the flash is just starting to get dropped by Taric right there. Jinx just flashed, and there's her flash over there. So it's like, when they use flash, does one get dropped, and then she just picked it up, and then she just flashed? Is that how it works? If so, how did she flash so many times in top lane against Victor? Because that was in a 1v1. So there's a lot of unanswered things there, but it's interesting. Like, again, am I against this mechanic? No, I just want to know more about it. The next thing was the sleep. So over here. So honestly, this looks again, kind of interesting. So it's a really fast and long skill shot, and when someone walks into it, they get CC'd and they fall asleep. The problem with that is, again, whenever you're like looking at design, you've got to think, okay, how is that going to affect both low rating and high rating? So the quickness of it is great. If you hit somebody with it instantly, does it make them fall asleep and cease them instantly? Or does it have to hit the ground and then kind of bloom and then people can fall asleep? Because in high rating, I imagine people are going to dodge that pretty easily. Like, I don't think you're going to have a Rammus just kind of walking straight into it unless there's just no other option. In reality, if this was actually a game of League, I'm pretty sure the Rammus would probably just go around it. Like, you know, I don't really think that's going to be 100%. I'm just going to hook it up, walk straight into it, and now I'm asleep. But asleep technically is a brand new type of CC. I don't think we've ever had sleep before. It's also going to be interesting to see the limitations of sleep, because again, some CCs you're allowed to use spells. Like if you're rooted, you're still allowed to use spells, but if you're stunned, you're not, and all that stuff. So it's going to be interesting what you're actually allowed to do when you sleep. Someone is saying, do I think she can pick up her own summoner spells? I wouldn't think so, but there's a chance. Like, again, in top lane, when she does this little thing over here against Victor, again, from what we can see, this is a 1v1. So she's chasing Victor. He flashes, she flashes, picks up the flash. So she did pick up a flash, and then she flashes again. So I think it's just, you know, when people use summoner spells, you can pick them up. I think that's what it is. The next thing that we can talk about mechanically, again, we're doing mechanics first, and then we'll talk about, you know, the aesthetics, is her ultimate, that I think is her ultimate, is this, if I'm not mistaken. So, she's against an Aurelian Soul, she jumps down, and she pops up in front of him, and then she goes back. And then she forces him to fall asleep. I'm guessing that's like her ultimate or something. Like, I don't know. Like, it's a really big CC that, like, she can jump in and out of a portal. Again, more information is definitely needed. We don't know how long she can stay or how long the portals can stay up. Is an instant 1-2 back, but you can make someone fall asleep. More information is needed. I'm guessing that's her ultimate. It might not be, but to me, that type of ability, I just personally don't see this type of ability not being an ultimate. I don't know. It seems fairly strong to me. I don't know. And if we look at any more stuff, I think that's pretty much everything mechanically that we need to know. So yeah, so overall, she's got a long range Q that can make people fall asleep if they run into it. She's got something to do with summoner spells, that she can pick them up and use summoner spells. She's got that, like, jump in and out of portals and something else. So just to kind of point out mechanically who designed this champion. So I know Twitch chat is probably going to say something right now. So the person that designed this champion is the same champion designer of Zed, Yasuo, Darius. So this champion designer, again, I'm nothing against them personal, but this champion designer does seem to be quite a designer when it comes to splitting the fan base. Quite, you know, decisive champions. People either love Yasuo or hate Yasuo. People even love Zed or hate Zed a lot of the time. And it does kind of seem this champion might fall into that category, which, you know, again, we're just talking about mechanics. It does seem the mechanics are a little bit like, you know, what's going on. There's a lot going on in like a not a crazy kit, you know. There's only 4 spells here, and it does seem like it's very busy. So that's the mechanic part out of the way. So if you leave your comment on the QT, whatever, have like a little paragraph talking about the mechanics. The next thing we're going to talk about is, in my opinion, the more controversial side to it, and the side that I'm more leaning. So I also just say my overall opinion on the mechanics, I'm fine with them. I just want to know more about them. I don't think the mechanics look bad. I think they look interesting. The mechanics look to be a breath of fresh air. The aesthetics. So let's move on. So Twitch chat right now, let me know what your just general opinion of the look of the champion, and I'll see if it kind of lines up with what I'm thinking. Because, again, to me it does seem very... people either love it or hate it. So I'm on the side that I don't think it looks League of Legends. I think potentially, like, the way that I worded it, I will say I made a video yesterday on ZOE, and I was quite, like, opinionated about it. To me, it looks like, and I used the exact wording in that video, it looks like a Barbie game on the 3DS. They just picked that model out of that game and just put it in League of Legends. And I know a lot of people are comparing it to, yeah, but Annie's a little girl, Lux is quite, very cartoony. It's not this much. Like, Annie's supposed to be, what, 6 years old, and she seems more adult than ZOE? Like, I don't know. To me, League has never been, like, a kiddie game, but ZOE is very kiddie. Like, again, a lot of people are like, yeah, but, Riot's not going pure kiddie, because they did Evelyn that's basically in the Nuddy a month ago. Again, we're talking about individual champions, and to me, it just doesn't suit League of Legends. Again, another thing that I can put it to is even in Riot themselves, they had an internal, like, basically argument that we know of last year about the Pugmore skin. About some people in Riot hate the Pugmore skin, and some people love it, kind of like the community. I'm on the line that Pugmore as a concept of him being a dog is fine, but the way they executed the skin doesn't look like it belongs in League of Legends. And I think this is exactly the same. I think her kit is not the problem. Her design and her feel, it literally feels like I'm in a Disney, like, cartoon. Like, I don't know. I just don't know if it belongs in League. I'm not sure what they could do. Some people think it's great, I guess. Some people are, like, putting it to, Lulu is very whimsical and stuff like that, and Ivan as well. The thing with those champions is that a lot of the time you kind of go, like, okay, they're very whimsical and magical and kind of over the top because they're magical, right? They're a made-up thing. ZOE's like a little girl, and it literally just feels like a little girl is just in League of Legends. And I don't even get that feeling with Annie. Like, Annie feels basically like a demonic child that's, like, like, very, like, kiddie, and I love Tibbers and cuddling Tibbers, but then she just blows everything up, and it's, like, crazy. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like ZOE has that at all, which I think if you want to have a kid champion in League of Legends, I think that's the way that you gotta go. I don't know if the kiddie thing goes completely with how League is. Do I think they're doing this on purpose? Yes. Do I 100% they've done a more kid-friendly champion on purpose, because a lot of the design aspects of League of Legends are becoming more casual / kid-friendly, and this champion 100% will appeal to a lot of those people, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I'm just saying that the hardcore, or the hardcore core of League of Legends, I don't know. It doesn't seem it's kind of parallel with what's going on. So I'm interested to see what people say, their opinions about it. But again, overall, my opinions, mechanically, I think she's okay. I just want to know more. I want to know the limitations of that kit. But the aesthetics of how she looks and how she feels, I just don't think it's a League champ. Again, if this champion was in Barbie Adventure, I'd be like, that makes sense. Or a Disney cartoon, that makes sense. League of Legends, no. Like, again, in the video that I made yesterday, I said, if you had somebody that doesn't play any MOBAs, and you sat them down, and you had all different characters from all different video games. So, you had Master Chief, you had, I don't know, Urgot, and you had all different champions and characters from video games, and you said, all right, you don't really play video games, tell me which character goes to which video game. No one would guess ZOE's from League of Legends. I guarantee nobody would be like, that champion is in the same game as Urgot. Worlds apart. I don't even think people would guess ZOE's from the same game as Lulu or Annie, which a lot of people are comparing her to. To me, it's just so different. But anyway, that's going to be me. That's my opinion. Again, I'm very interested to know everybody else's opinions. Again, be civil about it. In the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It's just a champion. It's a virtual, made-up champion in a video game, so it doesn't really matter. But it's a good discussion, right? And I want to do more of this stuff, get you guys involved. That's why I have the Twitch chat over there giving their opinions. I'm actually going to be interested in reading it live myself when I'm rewatching this video. But yeah, let me know in the QT down below if you want to get some Riot points. Let me know in the comments if you can't be bothered for that or you don't want Riot points. And I will see you guys next time. And who knows, we might play ZOE in the next few weeks on the PBE or something. See ya!